Captain Wood, but I certainly don't have any guilty secret. Well, she's running quite a swell out there, Mr. Bowman.
Yeah, it's a little heavy, all right, Mr. Warner. Guess the storm passed through to the west of us yesterday when the glass dropped.
Think it missed us then, huh?
Well, that's what the mate figures. Sure stirred up some water, though.
This'll put half the passengers in their bunks.
Makes it great for my department. 2/3 of them will want a steward to hold their heads.
They'll keep Mother Willis so busy that you... Wait.
What?
Look at the size of that wave.
Great, Jehoshaphat. We're going to take it on the port bow. You better hang on.
Oh. That was a freak if there ever was one. Not another wave that size in sight.
Yeah, you see them like that sometimes, even on a calm sea. I better get below, Mr. Warner. That water probably did some damage on the officer's deck.
Yeah, I suppose. What did you say?
The wheel companionway was open on the port side. The bridge cabins must have taken a pretty bad smashing. They're right below the... Something wrong, Mr. Warner?
Oh, no. No, nothing at all, Mr. Bowman. At least, I hope not. I didn't stop to find Captain Wood. Of course, I knew it was only 1 chance in 1,000, but the chances against that freak wave were 1 in 1,000, too. I stumbled down the companionway and along the passage to the captain's cabin.
Oh, come on in, Mr. Warner.
Oh, Mother Willis.
My, isn't this cabin a mess? I'm trying to get some of these things out to dry.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to check. Where's that box that was under the captain's bunk?
Oh, that? Oh, I just threw it out on the deck.
What?
With the desk over there slid into it. It was all smashed.
But the small box inside of it. What happened to that?
Oh, they were both splintered, Mr. Warner. Broke wide open.
Oh, no.
Why, Mr. Warner, you're white as a sheet.
Mother Willis, will you go find Captain Wood?
Yes, sir.
Tell him to come down here immediately.
Well, of course, Mr. Warner. I'll go tell him right away. I can finish up here.
I pulled open the top drawer of the bureau beside me and took out the captain's flashlight and a loaded pistol. Mother Willis had left a mop standing by the door. I put my foot on the head of it and snapped off the handle. Every move I made turned into slow motion. I could hear my own heart beating. Slowly, I started to search the cabin. Sodden heaps of clothing were scattered around on the wet black floor. I punched at them one at a time, holding the gun cocked, the flashlight pointing along the stick. Nothing. I worked around the room, throwing the light into the dark corners, back of the desk, under the bunk. Wherever I turned, I could feel those cold, unblinking eyes at my back, watching and waiting. Still nothing. Using the stick, I pushed open the closet door, threw the light inside. Carefully, I poked at the boxes and junk on the floor. The snake was not in the closet. Inch by inch, I covered the entire cabin. And only then the horrible realization began to dawn on me. Captain Wood.
Mother Willis just told me. Well, Christopher. So it's happened.
That's right. It's happened.
I see you found the gun. That's good. We better start by searching the cabin here.
Captain Wood, I just finished searching it.
Oh. Women, kids. That thing loose on board. 1,000 places for it to hide. Heaven help us, Christopher.
Certainly is something.
There's no use starting to blame anybody now, gentlemen. I didn't call you in here to pass judgment. The thing's done, and that's that.
Yeah, you're right
What we
there,
have
Captain.
got to do is to make up our minds how we're going to handle it.
Well, it'd be easy if we didn't have to tell the passengers and crew. I've seen panics aboard liners before.
I agree with you, Mr. Bowman, but I don't quite see how we can avoid it.
They got a right to know. As long as that snake's loose, everybody on board's on the same danger. And they all ought to know about it.
Captain Wood, that thing is 12 feet long. It can't simply crawl into a crack. Why don't we make a quick search of the whole ship before we spread any alarm?
I thought of that, Christopher.
Well, as far as I can see, the only place it couldn't be is in the boilers or on top of the galley stove.
It might have crawled overboard.
No. We can't count on that. We've got to assume it's on the ship somewhere.
Yeah, that could be anywhere. In a coil of rope or in a pile of clothes or under a baby's crib. Or even
You've
in
already said it. That Bushmaster could be anywhere. We've got to do something, and we've got to do it fast.
All right. I think the best idea is to follow Mr. Warner's suggestion. Make a quick search first. You agree to that?
Yes,
Then, if we don't find it, we'll have to warn the passengers.
We've got to find it. dim baggage room, I went through the same movements as I had earlier in the captain's cabin. Gun in one hand, flashlight in the other, poking into every dark corner behind every trunk and box. Since the baggage room was empty, I could keep the gun cocked and ready. The rest of those poor devils were having to do the same thing barehanded. All over the ship, the search went on.
Here now, Steward. What on earth are you doing, rummaging through my cabin?
I'm just checking up, ma'am.
Well, I'm quite sure there's nothing in here that has to be checked.
I'm sorry, ma'am. It's captain's orders. It'll only take a few minutes.
Well, I've never heard of such a thing. A passenger simply doesn't have any privacy at all. I've traveled on a lot of different lines, but I've certainly never heard of anything.
Sorry, sir. I wonder if you'd mind moving over to the other rail. I'd like to look through these lockers.
Sure, go ahead. What's the matter? You lost something?
No, nothing like that. No, just looking things over.
Well, there's nothing in there but life preservers.
Yeah, that's right.
You must be getting ready to sink the boat, huh? You got to collect the insurance on it, is that it? You're going to send us all to the bottom, I know.
But not one of us could find that deadly shape, coiled in some dark corner or outstretched along a window seat. Not one of us caught a glimpse of that horrid head with its beady, black, watchful eyes. The thing lay waiting out there somewhere along the decks, shaded in the gathering dusk. But where, we didn't know. It was nearly dark when we met together again in the chart room.
Well, gentlemen, there's no other way around it. We've risked all the time we can. We've got to warn the passengers.
How we do it, Captain? Call them all together in the lounge?
Oh, indeed. If we did anything like that, we'd be asking for a panic.
We'll get one whether we ask for it or not.
Pick a few men and go through the cabin decks. Tell them individually, inside their cabins. Watch for any that act like they might cause trouble, and we keep an eye on them. Handle the crew the same way. As soon as you're finished, arm all the deck officers and start searching again. Our only chance of preventing a riot is to find that damnable snake.
The slow nightmare that followed grew worse by the hour. None of us slept. All the ship's officers not on duty kept on with that endless search. Passengers locked themselves in their cabins or huddled together in the lounges, knowing all the time that no spot on board could be called safe. Fear was a heavy fog in the lungs of all of us, and every light on the vessel burned throughout the night. Morning came and brought no relief. Terror and tension mounted by the hour.
There now, Mrs. Crane. Stop getting yourself all worked up and go back to your cabin. The horrid thing's probably crawled overboard anyway.
You're just saying that. You're paid to say it. You don't know. Nobody knows.
No. Everything's going to be all right.
If only we could do something. If all of us could only get off this ship, they could fumigate it. Yes, that's what we've got to do. We've got to get off the ship.
No, wait. Mr. Bowman, she's going to jump. Grab her.
No, you don't, lady. Come on.
Nice work, Mr. Bowman. Get her down to her cabin. And whatever you do, don't turn her loose.
You never know when it might strike you.
Right.
You can't put on a coat or move a chair without risking your life, and something's got to be done. It might be right here in this lounge.
All right, mister. All right, you better quiet down and take it easy.
Take it easy, eh? You're a great officer. Why don't you do something about it? That thing might be crawling around here right under our feet somewhere.
I said shut up. What are you trying to do, start a panic?
I got a right to talk. I don't want to die, and no one's going to tell me what...
The second night passed, and morning came around again. A gray and rainy day that dragged past, and then night came down. Third night of the terror. Again, every light burned, and the whole ship seized in the throes of incipient panic. Faced by a horror they'd never met on the sea before, crew and officers alike were on the verge of revolt. Passengers sat huddled in a trance-like stupor, ready to scream at the slightest unknown sound. At 7 bells, I made my way forward to the chart room. Found Captain Wood bent over a desk.
Oh, hello, Christopher. Come on in. Sit down.
It's got to be somewhere, Captain Wood. It's got to be.
I don't know. You could search this ship for 6 months and never touch all the places aboard. If we can only hold out for 2 more days, we'll be in.
What's your home office say?
Here's the latest wireless from him. Keep quiet and keep coming. What else can we do? A cigarette, Chris?
Oh, thanks.
How is it on the decks?
Pretty bad. Anything could happen.
Yeah. So I took the guns away from the men. One pistol shot, we'd have a riot on our hands.
The whole thing's my fault, Captain Wood. That's what I can't forget.
Now take it easy, lad.
There was only some way I could pay for it myself, alone.
No. I know how you feel, but it's no more your fault than mine or the man who asked you to bring that snake back alive. Nobody planned this. You'd better try to get a little sleep, I think.
Sleep?
Mr. Bowman made some coffee down in the steward's galley a while ago. Better go on down and get yourself a cup and then rest for a couple of hours.
Rest? I can't rest.
Christopher, it's not going to help anything if you'll stumble through a hatch half asleep and break your neck, now is it? Go on, get some coffee.
Okay.
One way or another, we've got to hold out for 2 more days.
The light was on in the steward's galley, and the coffee pot was standing on the stove. It was still warm, so I didn't bother to heat it. I poured out a cup, carried it over, and set it on the porcelain tabletop in the center of the room. I started to light a cigarette. The door of the pan cupboard beneath the sink was standing slightly ajar, and I happened to glance toward it. I dropped the cigarette and moved slowly backward. I'd found the Bushmaster. As I moved, the snake slid out of the cupboard in a single sinuous glide and drew back into a loose coil on the galley floor, never taking his eyes off me. I moved slowly back, waiting any moment for that deadly, slithering strike. How had he known it was me? He'd stayed quiet when Bowman was here. How had he picked the first time in 5 days that I was without a gun? My hands touched the cold bulkhead behind me, and I stopped. Only then I realized in terror what I'd done. The call button and door were on the far side of the room. I'd backed into a dead end. I stared at the snake in fascination, expecting any moment the ripping slash of those poisoned fangs. The horrible coils tightened a little, then were still again. 10 million years of evolution to produce this moment. Homo sapiens versus Lachesis muta. Man against mute fate. And all the odds were on fate. I knew then that I was going to die. I could feel the sweat run down between the painted wall and the palms of my hands pressing against it. My skin crawled and twitched. The pit of my stomach was cold as ice. There was no sound but the rush of blood in my ears. The snake shifted again, drawing into a tighter coil. Always tighter. Why didn't the devil get it over with? And for just an instant, his head veered away. Something moved over by the stove. I didn't dare turn to look at it. Slowly, it moved out into my line of vision. It was a cat. That scrawny cat Clara that Mother Willis had sneaked aboard in La Guaira. Its back was arched. Every hair stood on end. It moved stiff-legged now, walking in a half circle around the snake. The Bushmaster moved slowly, kept watching the cat. He tightened. He was going to strike in any second. He struck and missed. The cat was barely out of reach. Now she was walking back and forth again. She was asking to die. Missed again by a fraction of an inch. He was striking now without even going to a full coil. Missed again and again, always missing by the barest margin. Each time the cat danced barely out of reach. Each time she countered with one precise spat of a dainty paw, bracing her skinny frame on 3 stiff legs. And then suddenly, I realized what she was doing. The Bushmaster was tiring, and one strike was just an instant slow. But in that split second, sharp claws raked across the evil head and ripped out both its eyes. The cat had deliberately blinded the snake. He didn't bother to coil now, but slid after her in a fury, striking wildly, always missing. And every strike was a little slower than the last one, until finally... As the snake's neck stretched out at the end of a strike, the cat made one leap and sank her razor-sharp teeth just back of the ugly head, sank them until they crunched bone. With tooth and claw, she clung as the monstrous snake flailed and lashed on the floor, striving to get those hideous coils around her, trying to break her hold, to shake off the slow and certain paralyzing death that gradually crept over him, and at last stilled his struggles forever. I took a deep breath. The first in minutes. The cat lay on her side on the floor, panting, resting from the fight just over. She had a right to rest. That mangy, brave, beautiful alley cat had just saved my life. And maybe others as well. But then, as I turned toward the stove, I suddenly became very humble. And I knew all at once what a small thing a human being really is. I and others aboard were still alive only by the merest accident. There were 3 reasons why that cat had fought and killed the world's deadliest snake. And those 3 reasons came tottering out from under the stove on shaky little legs. 3 kittens, with their eyes bright with wonder, their tails stiff as pokers. Up on the decks, hundreds of passengers were waiting for the news that the days and nights of terror were ended. Well, they could wait a little longer. I pulled open the doors of the cabinet and found a can of milk. Then I dropped down on my knees on the floor of the galley.
Escape, produced and directed by Norman MacDonald, has brought you John Lund in A Shipment of Mute Fate by Martin Storm, specially adapted for radio by Les Crutchfield. Featured in the cast were Barry Kroger as Captain Wood and Lois Corbett as Mother Willis, with David Ellis, Don Diamond, and Vivi Janis. Special sound effects by Earl Keane and Gus Bays. The musical score was conducted by Leith Stevens. Next week.
You are trapped in a remote valley in the Andes, walled in by sheer rock precipices. And surrounding you, closing in on you, is a band of blind men who want your eyes.
Next week, Escape with H.G. Wells' great story, The Country of the Blind, when our star will be that fine actor, Edmund O'Brien. Good night, then, until this same time next week, when once again CBS offers you Escape. John Lund may soon be seen starring the Paramount picture Bride of Vengeance. This is Roy Rowan speaking. It's time now for the most wonderful hour of laughter on the air, the mad and merry 60 Minutes with the Jack Benny Show, and with Amos and Andy. They will be heard over most of these same CBS stations, and Jack Benny will come to you over them all. You'll never miss them by staying tuned to the station where they say, "This is CBS," where 99 million people gather every week. The Columbia
Hey, good morning, people. What's going on? What's up? What's happening? I'm here. I'm weird. Get used to it. Oh, yeah. Bone hits tight this morning. Tight. Yeah. What's going on, peeps? What's going on, peeps? Yeah. Totally. Morning show. I'm just doing that. Oh, pardon me. Pardon my extension here. Yeah, so, what's going on? Yesterday, good morning, everyone. Yesterday, I went to take my daughter to campus. She goes down for a 3-hour class. And I've got to take her down twice a week. I took my wife. Usually she's busy here in town doing something. And she wasn't busy yesterday, so I was like, hey, why don't you go? We'll go cruise around, do some stuff. So we hit up 3 thrift shops. And that was fun. I've been on this kick lately about buying my daughter these acrylic desk organizer things. So the little round thing with the little pockets to put your makeup and stuff. So I've been collecting different types of them, and I think I've collected like a half dozen acrylic pieces now. I'll have to show them to you at some point. She's like, I don't have a room for them. I got them from my daughter so she can organize her little knickknacks and things. Mainly because I was really attracted to the clear acrylic stuff when I was younger. So now I've got to help her organize her room so she can use her little organizers, right? There you go. Coffee is hot. I did not want to get up this morning. I could not get to sleep last night. I could not stay asleep this morning. And then, of course, my dog Oliver decided to get up. He always gets up before the alarm. A half an hour, 15 minutes. It don't matter. If it's before the alarm, he wants to get up, scratch at the door, wants to do this or that. It's like, you know what? You're bugging me, dude. You're really bugging me. So he got up, got out from underneath the blankets, and went to go scratch. I said, don't even. You just lay down and go to bed. And he did. He would just lay down and went to bed. Sam was out here this morning for a minute, getting a drink of water, asking me what the hell was up. He's like, why are you awake so early? Why do you do this to yourself? I'm like, because nobody will let me do it to them. So there you go. Yeah, I picked up a few things yesterday. A few artsy-fartsy arts and crafts things yesterday. And of course, I put them in my arts and crafts box for Thursday, for tomorrow. So tomorrow, we are going to be looking into the arts and crafts box to figure out what the hell I got. I picked up some letters. I've got this desk name thing here, right? You can just see it there. So I'm going to put my name across that. We were at, what was it? Joann's going out of business sale. And we were looking around and I found some beads and some other stuff, these letters. But I also found some big and smaller size cardboard letters. They're just cardboard. They're 3D. They're thick, about 1.5 inches, 2 inches thick, depending on the size. And I almost got 5 of them. COWBG. Yeah, crazy old weird bearded guy. And I thought, well, what do I do? Where do I put them? There's no place to put them. I hang them in front of the curtain. I have to paint them and hang them in front of the curtain. That's the only place I have to put them, really. So, Vienna. Still can't wait to see Vienna again. He's out on his North American tour. All points unknown. And I'm just kind of hoping that at some point I get to see Jay again and hang out, talk music, talk tour, talk stuff, talk old stuff. Talk old stuff. Yeah, old. Totally. Someday I'll be gone and all this stuff will just be here. Oh. Surprise, surprise, I will be announcing this until it happens. My daughter is going on, this is the second to the last. She has 2 weeks of school left. So there's this week and one more week and then a day. That's it. So she literally has a handful of days left. She's got to write papers, she's got to take finals, she's got to do that stuff. So she's going to be working on her paper today and tonight and over the next few days. The thing is that she, she's only got a few days left. And I get to hang out with my daughter finally. So, God, I just got totally kerfuddled here. That's what happens when I start thinking about actually getting to hang out with my daughter. I get wackadoodle in the noodle. I'm looking for my probe, my little bong poker here. I think I left it in the kitchen. I had to rinse out the bong this morning. And, so there you go. All right. So anyway, my daughter, she's going on vacation. She's just got a couple of things to do. And then she's done for the summer. I'm really excited about this, and like I said, I'm going to be announcing this little tidbit here for the next week or so until it happens. But come Minecrafting Monday nights, while my daughter is on vacation, there's a good possibility that she will be my guest gamer for a few nights. So I'm real excited about that. Mainly because I want to show her all of the stuff I've done. I want her to explore my world. I want her to fight some monsters for me. It's pretty heavy. It's pretty heavy. This world that I've created. It's like almost 500 megabytes, which is a lot for Minecraft. And it spans like a dozen maps, this world. It's crazy. It's nothing like the first world that my daughter and I created, pardon me. It's nothing like that. I don't have my hat on. I'm going to put my hat on. And I'm going to get my poker. I'll be right back. Alright, I found my poker. TV guide here. My poker. My TV guide. My headphones. My coffee, my bong. This poker, this pipe cleaner I got, let me show it to you. Oh yeah. Coffee. I have to get more coffee today. Let's see, poker. This little tool. It is a pipe cleaner. It's a poker. It's a rammer. and it's a little scooper to scoop out and clean out the bowl. And then this is for old school pipes. I use it mainly for this center feature, this poker. It works good cleaning out most of my marijuana smoking utensils. So there you go, dude. And I like to use it to poke. I'm a poker. I like to poke. Oh, and that's right. I was gonna put together another bong hit here because that's what I like to do. Yeah. So like I said, my daughter's gonna be on summer vacation here within the next couple of weeks, and I already said so. So you're gonna be my guest Minecrafter, right? She said yes, you will. I said you don't have to be on camera. She can sit with me here and not be on camera. What I will probably do will be to take her Switch and split the signal. Let me see, do I have something here? Do I have something here that I could show you that would make explaining this a whole lot easier? I've got some little cables and cords and gadgets. Ah, here it is. This is it right here. HDMI splitter. That's it. That's it right there. That's all there is to it. So, I take this and I splice her game into this via one of these HDMI splices, and I pop this onto here. I plug her game into this, and then I take two HDMIs and I run one out into my mixer so that it goes live, and then I run one into my television in the living room so my daughter can sit on the couch and play video games with me and not have to be in here on the show. I can go from camera to camera to camera, and she'll never have to be seen, and she likes that. She likes my show, she likes what I do and stuff, but she don't like to be on camera. And because I was forced to be on camera when I was a kid, she says no. No means no. Period. I'm not going to try to talk her into it. I'm not going to say, well, you got to do it because I'm your dad. Which is what I had to, I'm your dad, you got to do it. You got to, if I tell you to get on camera, you got to say these lines. I don't want to do this. Do it. Yes, sir. That was my on-camera life. Do it because I say so. I would much rather have been, when I was younger, behind the camera, which is where I'm comfortable. But as it turns, or was comfortable, as it turns out, I'm perfectly fine in front of it. It's probably because of the experiences I had on camera as a youth that I'm okay here, right? And at this point in my life, I'm like, what the fuck do I care what people think of me at any speed, right? Fuck them. What are you gonna do? I'm not here to live your life. I'm here to live my life. So there you go. Just like I'm not here to live my daughter's life. She's here to live her life. So I'm not in any way, shape, or form going to force or coerce or make her do fucking anything. Please, no. No means no. No means no. Period. And she knows me. She knows that I'm going to do whatever she wants, and I'm never going to ask her to do anything that she don't want to do. And there's a lot of trust between my daughter and I because, she don't have to do nothing she don't want to do ever. And that's awesome. And there's a lot of people out there who can never say that about their kids, right? Well, I make my kid do it. That's usually what I make her. I make that kid do it. I make him. Oh, yeah, I mold that kid. I just take that kid and I just shape him like a piece of clay. No. I influence my daughter, and I make sure that she knows. And then it's up to her. completely up to her. What the hell's she talking about? I don't know. I just, when you're raising kids, you're not raising little clones. You're raising new humans to be themselves. That's the way I see it. I see a lot of families out there, and you look at all of the kids, and they're like, all of the girls are clones of mom, and all the boys are clones of dad. And I just scratch my head. And you know that one or two of those 6 fucking kids, right, are just gonna just fucking go crazy to break out of that fucking mold. Because they never had a chance to be themselves. They had to be brother number 3 or brother number 2. I had to be dad junior. I mean, it's like, oh, come on. Oh, come on. I know a lot of people out there like, oh, no way. He can't say that. He cannot say that about me, because I'm a junior, man. I'm exactly like my dad, and I love it. That's fine. Good for you. I'm just saying that it don't gotta be like that. Be yourself. The whole point of being human is to be different, not to be the same. All right? To be different. We could be the same on a lot of levels, but personally, we should all be different. We should be so different. We should have a lot of similarities and likes and dislikes and stuff. But we should allow ourselves to be different, dress different. You don't all have to wear the same thing. In some countries, that's the way it is. All the men wear this, all the women wear that. And it's like, okay, this is the color you wear. You don't wear that color because that color is reserved for royalty. And it's like, yeah, I don't, yeah. When you start putting people on upper levels above other people, that causes the downfall of humanity. That causes civil war. That causes civil unrest. Because you've got most of the population down here eating shit. All right? A good chunk of the population in the middle really trying to work toward not having to eat shit anymore. And then you got the top little few percent at the top who are just loving it, just eating up all of the best, using all the best, and fuck the little guy. We're going to use the little guy so we can stay on top, right? Quote of the week. I was driving down the road, and I'm like, here, honey, take my phone and type this into my message. I said, don't hitch your horse to a broken wagon. And she smiled and tapped it in. I said, so you know what that means? She said, yeah. I said, can you give me an example? And she's like, no. She don't want to. She's on her way to school. She's like, I don't want to think. Don't make me think. So I'm like, all right. So, taking a job at a company that is like failing, and it's just going to fail. But backing a candidate that is just fucking fucked up, right? So there's a, don't hitch your horse to a broken wagon. Yeah, don't do it. Wow. So it is Old Time Radio Wednesday today. I didn't have a whole lot lined up. What I did was I decided that the album of the day would be Escape for Old Time Radio Wednesday. So we have Escape, and we have the episode Line Engine versus the Ants. Great episode. It became a movie with Charlton Heston. Figure it out. That's him on the cover there. They used a scene from the movie in lieu of creating artwork or some kind of rendering, or most especially doing a photo shoot, creating that for just the album cover. So it was probably cheaper to get this image from the movie. And of course, they don't mention it at all. That is from the movie of a different title. Something jungle. Something with the something. TV guide this week is still George Kennedy. And we will read a little bit from that in a little while. Tomorrow is Throwback Thursday, and the box for Thursday is just almost packed, because that's like pretty much the anything goes day of the week. There's a lot of stuff happening there, and I've got another little traveling case of 8-track tapes to look through to see what we got, to see what's what. And then at some point this morning, we'll put on the episode of Escape with the line engine versus the ants. I think I have like a couple of versions of that. And I'll try to find the copy from August 4th, 1949. Let me see if I can find it here. August 4th, 1949. And it's a good thing I label these shows with the date in them. 48, 49. December 48, 49. December 49. Yeah. So we're going to look for August 48. April. Yeah, baby. Yep. Well, so we're looking at 49's August, The Fugitive. August. Yeah. September, February, May. Alright, what do we got here? August something, 48. April, August 18th, 49. That's close. That's August 22, 48. August 11th, 49. We're getting there. August. Yeah, August 18th. I think we saw that row. Okay, come on, August. Come on, August 4th. Line engine versus the ants. August 4th, 1949. There it is. So that is the one that's on the album here. It's also in my Escape playlist. Gosh, there should be over 100 Escape episodes at this point. At least. I got 75 here in this one file, so not everything that is uploaded is happening. Why am I'm back online. I guess I'm okay. My my monitor lost its signal, but that's okay. It's on Wi-Fi. My computers, however, are directly wired in to the modem, so they don't have to be affected by Wi-Fi. But my monitor, my telephone that I use as a monitor, to see if my picture is still live and to watch comments coming in. So there you go, there's that. We've been here for just about 25 minutes this morning. And I'm still really pumped up and excited about my daughter finally being out of school for the summer. And she just signed up for her fall classes, and she's so devoted to making sure this all works out. She contacts her counselor like 2 or 3 times and discusses everything with them. Every single semester that she registers for classes, she goes over this with her counselors. She said, okay, I'm signed up, I got all the classes, everything is good. I am going to make an appointment with my counselor and go over everything again to make sure that it's all good. And I'm like, wow, she is. I think when I went to college for 2.5 years, 10 years ago, and I saw my counselor like 2 or 3 times, right? Of course, I never graduated, and I took too many of the wrong classes and all that, so good on her that she's able to figure it out. I'm going to warm up my coffee, so don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. Just hang loose. I'm still here. I'm still here. So, last night, I get into bed early, right? I'm in bed before 9 o'clock, and I'm thinking, all right, I'm gonna have a productive day tomorrow, is what I was thinking last night. So I'm laying in bed, my wife's over there sitting on the bed doing the phone, and I'm like, so what are we doing tomorrow? And she says, school. I said, so we can, so we're cleaning house tomorrow then. And she says, no, we don't have any house. I said, no, we're going to clean house. And she says, we don't have any houses to clean tomorrow. I said, no, our own house. She said, oh, maybe. And I'm like, well, it'd be really nice if we could get everything straightened up in here and organized. I mean, I've got my drum set here in the living room, and it's behind the couch, and the couch is pushed out into the living room, and it's just like, you know what, things have got to get straightened out in here, and in order to do that, I've got to go into the shed and straighten that out. So I told her last night, all right, today or tomorrow, we're going to get up and drop Natalie off at her commute, and then run down and drop my teeth off at the dentist, right, my dentures, so that I can get those taken care of. And then come home and work on the house. And I've been waiting. I'm dying to get into the dentist, but my schedule is just so fucked up. I can't afford to get over there. I just can't afford to get the time to get over there. So, not 5 minutes after we're talking about what we're going to do, my daughter comes in and she says, my friend's class got canceled for tomorrow, so you're going to have to take me and pick me up. She's got a morning class and an afternoon class, an evening class. So she's got to be there all day, right? She goes for an hour and 15 minutes in the morning before noon. She gets off at noon, and then it's lunchtime, and then she works on schoolwork there. And then she eats dinner at about 4. And then goes to her class at about 5-ish, right? And then she's out at like 6:45. So she's like, oh, I don't want to carry a frickin' lunch around with me all day, carry dinner around, and it's not easy for her to leave campus without a car. So I'm like, well, why don't we just? I'll take you down there, take you to your class. After class, I'll run you over to Subway. You can grab your lunch, and then I'll take you back to school and drop you off. Pardon me. And then I'll come home and then pick you up, go back down in the evening and pick you up, rather than stay there all day. So she's like, okay. And I look at my wife and I go, well, so much for getting the house organized once again. Yeah, I made a plan, made a schedule, and it's been preempted. So that's kind of par for the course. I picked up a bag of potting soil, and I have my little bottle of liquid concentrate fertilizer, plant food, right? So the plan was to take all of the pots of potted plants, like this one here in the corner here that you can't see, and some of them I need to take out and unbunch the roots and put them into a bigger pot with more soil. Some I just need to add a couple of inches of soil to the top. Some I need to completely take out of their pots, add new plants, put them into a bigger pot, and more soil and stuff. So that's kind of one of those things that needs to be done, and I just haven't had the time. You know, I've got so many things here that need to be done, and I just haven't had the time. This week, I may be able to stay a week ahead of my uploading, which means I'll probably get to upload this week that I've lost a week in the future. Right now, I'm uploading into the future. I'm uploading stuff for the week of June 16th. This is, of course, the last week of April. All of May is uploaded. The only things that aren't uploaded between now and June 16th are video time machines and weekly program guides. Because I don't know what's going on yet. So those are last minute deals. That's what it is. Tomorrow, Arts and Crafts Day, there's probably a lot of stuff that we're going to be able to fiddle around with. Maybe putting the letters on my nameplate. What I'll probably do is put a piece of blue tape along the bottom of the nameplate along a specific line, and then bump the bottom of the letters up against that tape and write my name. What I didn't realize is that all of these letters here are uppercase letters, both sides, both colors, uppercase letters. And that's kind of a bummer, because I like, I don't want to scream my name, and that's kind of what it feels like. So I also have a few other things. I did pick up some glass seed beads. The stuff the Native Americans would make a lot of things out. In fact, I'll pull down and try to gather up some of the seed bead work that I did. I have a few pieces, not much. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a loom so that I can create some different beaded things. I don't recall exactly how to do some of the stitching, so I'm going to have to do a little research. And actually, I have a book. I think I have a beading book that shows me how to weave the thread through the beads to create the right shape. There's different shapes that I like to make. I like to make rosettes. I like to do a peyote stitch. I'd like to do like a banner, just a long, wide strip, which is great for loom beading. And then a daisy chain. I really want to make a daisy chain necklace, because I used to have this really nice daisy chain beaded necklace that came down, and I think it had a leather bag on it. So I'm going to be working on a daisy chain necklace and a daisy chain bracelet. I'm going to have to get, for the bracelet, I'm going to have to get the little clasps. But I picked up some really good, really strong white and black beading floss. Really waxed, really fine, strong shit. So I'll be working with that. I also need to pick up some beading needles. I haven't beaded in about at least 30, 35 years. God, maybe 40. So it's probably been the mid-90s, mid to late 90s since I last did any beadwork, so at least 30 years. So we'll do a little bit of that in the mornings at some point. Today, while we're listening to Escape this morning, I'm going to plug in my guitar and try to find the right setting here on my Boss digital recorder, which has some guitar effects. And I've got this pumped into the pumped in. You can hear that there. I've got it pumped into my mixer here, and it does have a little bit of a buzz, and I do not know why. So let me see if I take this. So I think what I'm going to have to do is take this apart again and spray the plug and buff it out so that it's got a little less of that annoying buzz there. But I want to at some point here, and I think today's probably the day, I'm going to introduce the guitar. If I get to it, I'm going to plug my guitar back in, find a good setting, and then in the mornings, when I don't have anything in my hands, I'm going to try to get that guitar in my hands. It's like my dentures. If I can do it for a couple hours a day, every day or two, I'll get used to it. So there. Ah, yeah. Coffee is not hot enough. But I will heat it up in the next run. Slowly but surely, we will get through everything that I have sitting in my home, in my office, in my living room here, in my storage trailer, in my friend's garage. We've got a lot of stuff to get through. What am I doing? I'm cataloging my life. That's it. The morning show is pretty much the story of me, so why not have props? I'll give you some props, homies. The old propses. I'll give you the props off my airplane. So yeah, man. I miss people stopping by here, but I get it. I'm a kook who wants to sit and listen to this kook ramble on. I get it. Comments. I would really like to have some kind of back and forth discussion with somebody, anybody. I know that my family doesn't want to have anything to do with me. Not my girls here. My girls love me. They don't like to be on the show. But my blood relatives, so-called. And I get that too. I'm the kook of the family. I'm the black sheep. I'm the nutball. I'm the one who sees reality, so, yeah. I'm a pariah. You know, nothing on them. That's fine, you know. Like I said, everybody's different, right? Everybody's different. We're allowed to be different. We're allowed to like or not like who we want, right? And that's important. I don't hate my relatives. I don't exactly like them, but I don't hate them. All right? Mainly because we don't know each other. They don't know me. I don't know them. Too much water's gone under the bridge. You know. And that's only with me. The rest of the family, they all know each other. They talk, they go to reunions, they do stuff, they meet, they hang out. You know, my sister goes to see my brother goes to see my sister, that kind of stuff. They don't do that with me. They don't call, they don't talk to me, they don't send me messages regularly. Every once in a while, I get a happy birthday or a Merry Christmas or a hey, what's going on? But that's it. If I don't actually go out of my way to initiate conversation with some of my relatives, I'm a cipher. I'm a naught. I'm a zero. So there you go. And I literally have to send message after message after message to get a response other than I'm busy. I have too much going on, right? Well, the posts that I'm seeing say otherwise, but okay. So I get it. You know, I don't hate anyone. I just don't exactly like everyone. So, there you go. But it's always been like that with my family. I mean, I was talking to my wife. We drove by a tent trailer that was parked alongside the road. And I'm like, oh, look at that. There's my house. And I had to explain to them that when my family, my mother, my father, my brother, my sister, and I all lived in Lake Elsinore, in 1981-82, we lived in a school bus, an actual 1965 Ford school bus. I could not stand to live in that school bus because there was no rooms, no doors, no partitions, no beds, no nothing. It was just school bus seats and a couple of makeshift beds. And so I moved out into the tent trailer that we had been living in the summer before. So I'm now living in the tent trailer that I was already used to living in, but now I'm alone. Sure, it's piled up with dirty laundry and junk and crap because it's kind of a storage place where all the good clothing goes to dye into the laundry pile. So I just took one of the beds in the tent trailer and lived in there. And I had to explain to my wife that it was because I was, any other kid and their parents would have said, oh, no, you can't do that. You got to be, with your family and this and that. And it's like, nope, they just do whatever you want, dude. When I stopped going to school in the 7th grade for the last 6 weeks of school, I honestly believe that I could have run away from home and they never would have come looking for me. Now, a couple of years after that, I did. I left home at 15 and they never came looking for me. So I'm quite convinced, had I just walked off one day and just kept going, I wouldn't have had to worry about anybody coming to look for me. Period. So when I think back to my past, living with those people, I can honestly say that they weren't really my family, and they didn't really want me, and they didn't see me as equal to the other kids in the family. Period. I was treated differently. I was bullied by everyone in the family, and I was treated differently by everyone in the family, especially my father, quote unquote, because I don't know if he really was. Honestly, I don't think he was my father. I think he was just my mother's husband, who came back from Vietnam to find his wife pregnant. And however that happened, I'll have to do a blood test to figure that shit out. But, yeah. Good times. Good times. And I don't hate anybody over this. It is what it is. My life is what it is. I've come to the conclusion that it fucking is what it is. Yeah. And of course, I'm sure my brother and sister have their own versions and see things differently. Of course, everybody in my family immediate family, you know, brother, sister, mother, father, everybody knew what was going on. Even people outside the family knew more about my past than I did. You could see it in their eyes, you know. I'm sure that there are some people from my past who don't want to have anything to do with me because they know more about me than I do, right? I mean, sure, my siblings, they don't want to talk about certain stuff because they know that they'll have to admit that they've known all along of certain things, right? Okay, that's okay. Keep the lie. Parents are dead, right? The lies should have died with them, but neither one of my parents ever had the balls to tell me what was really going on. They alluded to it a lot. They alluded to a lot of shit, you know, which is them just in a roundabout way telling me about me, talking about another kid that was in the family, which was bullshit. You know, they kept saying stuff about a rape baby and having been adopted and given up and all of this. And that was me, you know. Yeah, that was me. My middle name is Vaughn because that is the family that took care of me after I was born because my mother didn't want me. She did everything she could while I was a fetus to abort me. You know, everything short of using a fucking coat hanger. Yeah. So, the fact that they could just never come clean and tell me straight out, look, we're talking about you. All these stories that we said about this guy, this kid, this, you know, this rape baby, it was you. Yeah, it was me all along. So. And the rapist was probably my grandfather, which makes it even worse. Let's see. Today is Wednesday, and we are looking at Wednesday morning. And I have the old TV guide here. The old TV guide here. Celebrity Sweepstakes, Chuck Woolery, Carol Wayne, Artie Johnson, Greg Mulvaney, Marion Ross, and Dan Rowan. Yeah, totally. Take My Advice, Discussion, Bob Barker, Michelle Lee, Lorraine Gary, George Hamilton. Totally. And Afternoon, Mary Hartman. Oy. Oy. My mother obsessively watched that show in the 70s. Another show that I haven't seen here on the TV guide yet is Prisoner. Prisoner was, I believe, an Australian show, and it was about a women's prison. Yeah. My mother watched that one religiously too, mainly because she was in juvenile detention when she was younger, which is where she got her name, because she didn't like her name, so they gave her a nickname, and that stuck. So she was always known as Misty after that. I don't know what's wrong with Ray. You know, she didn't like the name Ray, so there you go. Ray Madeline. She hated that name, Ray Madeline. I kind of like the name Madeline. I would have preferred to call my mother Maddie or Madeline than Misty or Ray. Misty Ray. Misty Ray. Oh, give me a break. That's so cheesy. That's so cheesy. When you take your childhood nickname and keep it with you the rest of your life. Ugh. Yeah, this is my mother. What? My mother. What's her name? Misty. Oh. You one of them hippie broads, huh? No. Not really. She was a surfer. My dad was a greaser. Of course, we lived among the hippies after Vietnam. So, There you go. Let's see what is on prime time on Wednesday, May 5th, 1976. At 8 o'clock, Bionic Woman. At 8 o'clock, Little House on the Prairie. There you go. School Without Walls documentary. Tony Orlando and Dawn. That would be a variety show. Gallos de Mexico. Baseball. The Indians play the A's. At 9 o'clock, Beretta. Sanford and Son. Theater in America. And check out these tall cigarette ads. Always with the cigarette ads. Oh, here we go. Cannon. William Conrad. That's got to be my favorite fucking show. Oh, at 9:30, Chico and the Man. Chico and the Man. Looking good. And Freddie Prinze. This is 1976. So Freddie Prinze is still on the show. It's a repeat. At 10 o'clock, Starsky and Hutch. Also at 10, Hawk. Burt Reynolds is Hawk. That's right, he had his own TV show. And then Blue Night also at 10, and that's a George Kennedy show. What do we have late night? Outrage, 1973 TV movie about teenage gang in an upper-class suburb. Wow. So Robert Culp, Marilyn Mason, Bo Richards, and Thomas Leopold. I don't know. And then a George Kennedy movie, A Cry in the Wilderness, a rabid skunk bites a dude. Well, weird. And then, of course, late night, Mary Hartman. Oi. And that's it. That is it until tomorrow morning. Totally. There you go. There's that. That's how we do that. Time to load the bongski. So, today, because my daughter's commuter ride, a girl that she goes to school with, one of her friends from high school, in fact, like her best buddy out here from high school, they go to school together. They went to school together at the college here, and they're going to school now together in the down in the desert at the university. Those kids are getting it done, all right? They're getting it done, all right? I don't know how much support her friend gets at home, but my daughter's getting all the support she can, all the support we can give her, and any support we can give her friends. Her friend, whatever she needs from us. If they both need a ride because her car is broke down, I'm there. We just got my daughter's AAA card, so if anything happens, my daughter can handle it. So that's pretty cool. Today, of course, I have to take her down. So my wife was going to go with me. We're going to go drop her off, run over to the store, grab a few things, and then go pick her up, take her to lunch, and then drop her back off at school, and then come home. And then the plan was to spend the day working in the house here. My energy level goes up and down really quick, mainly because I don't eat a whole lot. So I'm probably going to come right home from dropping her off and take a nap for 3 or 4 hours so that I can get back up at about 5 and drive down and pick her up by 6:15. So I'm probably not going to get much done here again today, which that's fine, because my job at this point in my life, my whole job is making my daughter's school career manageable, possible, easier. She's got enough on her plate with the school work. She doesn't have to work at anything else, right? She should not. I know it's hard for her friend because her friend actually has to have a job to pay for her car and her insurance and all of that. And that sucks, to have to go through all of that and to have to pay for it on your own. I do not envy her at all. I feel horrible about it. I wish there was something I could do. You know, if we had a giant house, right, I would invite her friend to live in her own tiny home or room in our home so that she didn't have any bills, so that she didn't have to worry about. I'd pay for her freaking car insurance if she lived with us. Just to make sure that she went to school. Because right now in her life, that's the most important thing, is working toward your future. Not planning the future, but planning for the future. She doesn't have to know exactly what she wants to do or where she's going to be at in 20 years. She just has to know that everything she's doing now is going to pay off at some point. That's it. Working a menial job while going to school. I do not envy her at all. She's got it rough. And it just even more makes me want to keep my daughter at home and make her life so much easier until she's done with school. When she's done with school, she gets out into the working world. Even then, you know, however she wants to do it. We're a support family, all right? My wife comes from a big family, and her family all stay together. You know, they've got, 4 generations of people living under one roof in her family, in multiple houses. So, and that's great. I want that to happen here, and to keep my daughter and my wife together always, no matter what, If my daughter gets married, mom should be in the picture somewhere. She should have her own room. She should be living somewhere on the property, a regular fixture in the house, right? Because she needs to be there. And my daughter needs her mother there all the time. My wife and I got out of the car, and my wife said something to the effect of, "Oh, so you don't need me anymore?" And my daughter's like, "No, I'm going to always need you." And I said, "Yeah, especially when it comes to food." And she giggled and said, "Yep. Because right now, food is the big stopper in my daughter's life. She eats every couple of hours. She doesn't eat a lot, but she eats every couple of hours. She's got a good metabolism. But it takes too much time for her to feed herself. So if we can make her food and make her life easier, yeah, we're spoiling her. What we also let her know, look, you're being spoiled because you're in school. You're being spoiled because you are doing so much right now. We want to keep you on that. We want to keep you on that right track. So therefore, she gets spoiled. Period. Yeah. All right, we may not make it to the guitar today. I am probably going to boot up the Escape episode here for this morning, and we'll listen to that, and then from there we'll do a little bit of discussion. I'm probably not going to stay long today. I would really like to be able to get a nap in, but it's not going to happen until much later. I got shit for sleep last night, of course, as usual. I probably got about 3 hours. I got into bed like 8:30 and floundered until 10. And then I fell asleep sitting up. So, of course, I woke up at midnight to readjust my body and got up twice between then and 4 to take a leak. And then, of course, my dog woke me up at 3:45. So, it was normal. It was a normal night sleep. I get better sleep during the day, during my nap. For some reason, it's just a better sleep period. Mainly because I'm exhausted. Yeah. Exhausted. And I'm sure it'll be no different today. basically I got to get done here and eat some food. And at some point take a shower, because I'm going to have to wake up. And I know a shower will wake me up. Totally. All right, I'm going to do this bong in here. You guys want to listen to some Escape? I mean, there's really nobody here, so I don't know what to do. I feel like I'm off the air. I feel like there's just nobody there. I'm going to heat up this coffee. I'll be right back. And then maybe somebody will show up. Not. Oh, my boxes are getting empty. I got 3 empty boxes. 3 empty boxes. Then, no more, and then let me reboot my comments to see if anybody has shown up here. And I'm just missing. Nope. Hey, well, it says somebody's here. Is there somebody here? Anybody? Is there anybody out there? Oh. No, really. I'm just gonna. If somebody's there, say hi. Otherwise, I'm just gonna sit here and drink coffee and smoke dope. 'Cause, you know, fuck it. Fuck it. I could play with my yo-yo. I'm okay with a yo-yo. I mean, I never really got to play much when I was a kid. But I actually like to keep it because I like to keep it on me when I'm out. It's a great weapon, all right? It's a great conversation piece, icebreaker, conversation starter. But at the same time, you put this thing on your finger and you roll it up. And, oh, look, it's got a little confetti in there from the last concert. That's funny. And if somebody fucks with you, you sling this fucking thing out and whack, pull it back, and then beat the fuck out of them with it, right? Because this is a solid chunk of wood here. This is a pretty good equalizer. And it's just a fucking yo-yo, right? I'm a yo-yo. But it's fun and useful on many levels. It's my Dairy Queen yo-yo that I've had for a few years. I got it in a box of crap a few years ago. I was on a kick for a while doing free boxes, Craigslist free boxes. I'd be on Craigslist every day, all day long, for like a couple of years. And it was before Facebook Marketplace, before a lot of things stepped up and took over my time. But there was a time period where I was always on Craigslist, and I was always ready for that post to just pop up fresh that said free stuff. And we'd go and get it. Take the minivan and shoot over and go get it. I've done that where we've gone to the same place and made like 3 trips back and forth just to get everything that they were giving away. Doesn't matter what it was, just it was free. Bring it home and then deal with it. I mean, once we went, and they had this garage filled with stuff, and they had a roommate, and the roommate had moved, and she left a bunch of stuff behind. Well, the roommate, what they didn't know is that the roommate had died. She had passed away. I actually found this out through my research, because they gave us all of her stuff, all of her personal belongings. They just wanted it all out of the garage. They had to get everything out. They were moving, and they had to move this stuff, or they'd have to pay for its removal. So we went down 3 trips in my minivan, put stuff in, put stuff on, brought everything back to the house, opened up these boxes of stuff. We had no idea what was in them. I had yearbooks from this lady. I may even still have a box of her stuff that I just couldn't part with. Personal items. So she also left like a half dozen fur coats, real fur coats, right? I was like, Jesus. And some furniture and a bunch of other, just so much stuff, knickknacks and things. Most of it we just sold off. Most of it we just sold. I'd put it right back on Craigslist in our area, with a price on it. We had this old lady that we knew that was into eBay back then, 15 years ago. And she had her own little store on eBay. So we gave her the fur coats and said, "Here, we'll sell these fur coats then." She was always suspicious. Where'd you get all these? These are expensive. How did you get these? Get on Craigslist. Jeez. There's always somebody giving something away. I mean, one time I went for like $50. I picked up all of this musical instrument stuff. A huge box just filled with like microphones and cables and tuners, and this little Boss digital recorder here that I've had since. That's like one of the only things that I still have. I remember I had gathered up all of these musical instruments because I was trying to make an attempt to get back into it. And we fell on hard times, and I had to sell off all of that stuff. I sold it all to a friend who was kind enough to give me what we needed for rent. Thank you, David. And I did that so many times where I would just get on Craigslist and I would find something for free or for dirt cheap, and then just turn it around and sell it for more money. That's what my parents used to do with drugs, right? Buy a little and split it up and sell it, and then get twice as much and then buy more and split it up and sell, it's like. So I would do that with junk from Craigslist, which kind of got me to where I am now, a house and storage stuff just filled with stuff that I was able to get dirt cheap. And it's all worth something. So then, now what do I do with it? I'm going to share it here with you. And if after that I'm done with it, then it's up to you people to hey, where's that thing that you had on your show with the I want that. Can you give me that? Yeah, you pay for shipping and it's yours. That's how this is going to work. I will raffle off stuff. I will auction off things. I'll just flat out give shit away, right? All right, if somebody calls in, I'm going to give them a stereo, and then I'll just fucking box it up, and all right, you pay for shipping and handling, and the stereo's yours. Shipping, that's the cost of shipping. Handling, that's the cost of whatever packaging it's going to take to get it to you safely. To me, that's shipping and handling. You don't pay for my time. I'm happy to get rid of a lot of this shit, just to get rid of it. Of course, my wife's like, yeah, get rid of it. Of course, she's come to understand that a lot of the stuff that I have here that I've collected is worth way more than I invested in bringing it home. She picked up a slide projector here for $1. And I'm looking at it looking like, yeah, I clean this up, make sure that it works, make sure it's got a clean, good working lamp on it, and I can get at least $20 out of it. right? If I can find a box of slide trays and some random old slides from different places and curate a little package, right? There you go. You want to, and then put it with find a screen for it. And now, because I've got, this is just one of a couple of different slide projectors that I have. I've got 16 millimeter projectors for film and 8 millimeter projectors. I got high 8, not a high 8, but super 8, which means that it's got sound. I've got some great 8 millimeter home movies. I've got some super 8 films. I've got a lot. Under my bed are stacks of 16 millimeter films. I have some of my favorite films on 16 millimeter. My favorite double feature that I have on 16 millimeter film and projectors to play it, and screen and everything. The two films that I have that are my favorite are Bugsy Malone and The Bad News Bears Breaking Training. So those two films there I have on 16 millimeter reel. They're both double reels, and they're in pretty good shape. I think the Bugsy Malone is a TV copy, so it may have. I've never watched them. I've watched one. I've never watched the Bugsy Malone. I think that the Bugsy Malone is a TV copy, so it has commercial break spots. Put commercial here. Possibly. I don't know. I'm going to have to check it out. At some point, I want to hold a little screening, a little movie party, and have some. What I might do is take a couple of projectors and a few films down to the reunion, and one night during the reunion we'll do a double feature, and we'll watch on old projector up on a screen, sit and watch Bugsy Malone and The Bad News Bears and Breaking Training. If I can do nothing else down there at the reunion with all of my wild ideas and plans, I'd really like to do that. I had so many hopes and plans, but I just could not get anybody involved. I guess nobody's taken me seriously, right? So it's all up in the air as to what's going to happen. The reunion's happening August 15th to the 18th in Lake Elsinore, California. But I don't know what's going to be taking place. People are asking me ticket prices and that kind of what's going on. And I tried to leave, this is what we're doing this day. I tried to explain to people, this is what's going on. I've got shirts, and if we get together and sell enough shirts, look, here's a forum. Sell a bunch of shirts and get back to me, and then I'll get more shirts. And yada, and nothing. People would buy shirts, and then that's it. They figured that was enough. And it's really not. Buying a shirt was not enough, because all it did was create the need for more shirts. So all of the money that we made for the party selling shirts, all of that money went into paying for those shirts, because I didn't sell enough shirts. I didn't sell enough shirts to pay for the shirts that we printed. So I can't keep investing myself into something like that when nobody else is willing to step up and say, okay, I can sell 5 shirts. Send me 5 shirts in these sizes. And nothing. Fucking crickets. So what I want to do is get my own little screen printer and screen print a bunch of my own fucking shirts. And then if somebody wants a shirt, I'll make them a shirt. But I don't have to order a bunch of shirts and then sit here with a bunch of shirts. Because I do. I've got a box with 24 shirts in it. And that's a lot of money. 24 times 25. 12 times 50. That's a lot of fucking money towards shirts and party and stuff. So, yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and put on Escape, and I will fiddle about. And I'll be here. I'll be here. Let me get this set up here.
Suspense, which is usually heard at this hour on Thursday nights,
Yeah.
is taking its customary summer holiday. Suspense returns to the air 4 weeks from tonight on Thursday, September 1st.
There I am.
You are isolated on a remote plantation in the crawling Amazon jungle, and an immense army of ravenous ants is closing in on you,
Ravenous?
swarming in to eat you alive. A deadly black army from which there is no escape.
We offer you Escape, designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
High adventure. I'm gonna get high and have an adventure.
Tonight, we escape to the Amazon jungle and to a creeping, crawling terror, as Carl Stevenson told it in his famous story, Leiningen versus the Ants.
I first met Leiningen while performing my duties as district commissioner. As my boat neared his plantation landing, I saw him upon the riverbank, regarding me with mild interest. A great hulk of a man with bristling gray hair, bulky nose, and pale eyes. His entire appearance somehow suggested an aging and shabby eagle. He escorted me to the terrace and had a drink brought. I came quickly to the point of my visit and issued my warning. Leiningen puffed placidly at a huge cigar as he listened, and then said,
Exactly what are you trying to tell me?
I'm trying to tell you that unless they alter their course, and there's no reason why they should, they'll reach your plantation in 2 days at the latest.
Well, Commissioner, it was decent of you paddling all this way just to give me the tip. But
Tip?
You're pulling my leg, of course, when you say I've got to get out.
Now, look, I assure you, I'm not...
Commissioner, even a herd of crocodiles couldn't drive me from this plantation of mine.
You don't understand. These aren't creatures you can fight.
Do crocodiles
They're an elemental
hurt?
force, a gigantic catastrophe. 10 miles long, 2 miles wide. Ants, nothing but ants.
Are the females
Each
cows?
one as big as your thumb, and each of them a fiend from hell. Unless you clear out at once, there'll be nothing left of you but a skeleton, picked as clean as your own plantation will be.
I'm not going to run for it, Commissioner, just because trouble's on the way.
But it isn't trouble, it's...
And don't think I'm the kind of fathead who tries to beat off lightning with my fists either. I've got a better weapon, Commissioner. In fact, with me, the brain isn't just a second appendix. I know what it's there for.
Can't I make you understand the hideousness...
I think it is you who do not understand. In the 3 years I've been here, I've met and defeated more than one catastrophe. Flood and drought, a plague. Events which caused many of my neighbors to flee for their lives. No, Commissioner, all my life I've lived by one motto. The human brain needs only to become fully aware of its power to conquer even the elements.
Leiningen, your obstinacy is endangering not only your own life, but the lives of your 400 workers and their families. You don't know these ants.
You don't.
I tell you, you don't know these ants. But Leiningen
does he
merely
know the
sat there
uncles?
puffing at his cigar and regarding me with a sardonic grin. And I knew it was hopeless.
Sardonic. Looking like a sardine?
As I boarded my launch and cast off, I turned to look once more at this man who calmly intended to defy one of the world's greatest scourges. I felt a sudden resentment toward him, and yet, with it was something else. I had never met a man like that. And I couldn't help wondering what combination of elements made up such a creature.
I stood on the bank of the river watching the commissioner's launch until it rounded a bend and was lost to sight. There was a strange look in the commissioner's eyes as he stood on deck staring back at me. Clearly, he thought me, at the very least, unreasonable. Well, he wouldn't have been the first to think so. But I, Leiningen, knew my own powers. I was sure of myself. I knew that intelligence directed right always makes man the master of his fate. That night I called my Indian workers together in front of the plantation house. I saw their faces go ashen with terror as I told them the ants were coming. Watched them as they milled around, muttering. I said nothing more to them. Finally, one of the men stepped forward, Blas, the foreman.
Patron, we have worked hard here for these 3 years, all of us. We have built the finest plantation in this district.
The finest
we
plantation.
all share in it. It has been a home for all of us and our families. Now the ants come.
So?
Those ditches we dug last year.
Bitches? Oh, ditches.
The pipe we put in the ground. That was for the ants?
That was for the ants.
If we moved our families across the river, the ants could not reach them.
That's right. And you?
The ants are mighty. We know what they can do. All of us think that you are mighty.
You are mighty.
We will stay and fight against the ants with you.
All right.
I knew the men would
crazy.
give me that answer. I'd counted on it. Suddenly I thought of the commissioner, wondered what he'd say at such unquestioning confidence. Would he still think I was, unreasonable?
Yep.
All that night, I could not get Leiningen out of my mind. One man who calmly evaluated his chances against a deadly menace, coolly decided that he could win, and was willing to stake his life on it, to risk a horrible death for it. It was terrifying, and yet it was fascinating. When dawn came, I sent for my assistant. Together we went to the huge map of the district which hung from a wall of my office.
The last reported position of the ants came in last night. They were, here, about 70 miles above this fork in the river.
Traveling southeast?
Yes, sir.
Directly toward Leiningen.
Toward whom, sir?
Oh, that plantation at the bend in the river. Belongs to a man named Leiningen.
Oh.
When would you say the ants will reach there?
Why, I don't know, sir. I imagine about tomorrow noon.
Tomorrow noon, huh? Still time.
Still time? What do you mean, sir?
Oh, nothing. Never mind. What did I mean? Still time for what? For Leiningen to flee, or still time for me to... Even as I rejected the thought with horror, I knew that the fascination of that man was more than I could resist. That Leiningen's fight was drawing my mind, drawing me back toward that plantation and death.
Death.
I knew past all doubt that I was going back to Leiningen's plantation.
Yeah.
I had to.
Had to. Had to do it.
It was 10 o'clock in the morning when I rounded the bend and saw Leiningen's plantation before me. I put in at the dock and tied up the launch, and then I saw him standing on the bank above me.
No more and then.
Arms folded, stubby cigar in his mouth, and that same sardonic grin on his face.
Stop saying sardonic.
I made my way up to him.
Back for another warning, Commissioner?
No.
Oh, back to stay a while?
Yes.
Ah.
You don't seem very surprised.
I'm not.
You expected me?
I knew you'd be back. Come along, we'll get some horses. You'll want to ride around the plantation and take a look at the defenses I've rigged up.
Yes. I'll want to see the defenses.
And the ants. We'll be getting a glimpse of them before long, I should think.
Yes, and the ants.
Come along, then.
The defenses Leiningen had devised were quite impressive. Surrounding three sides of the plantation like a huge horseshoe was a ditch 12 feet wide. The ends of this horseshoe-shaped ditch ran into the river, which formed the fourth side of the plantation. And at the upriver entrance to the ditch, Leiningen had constructed a dam by which river water could be diverted into the ditch. A large hand wheel controlled the floodgate of the dam, and apparently Leiningen had ordered it opened immediately after my arrival. For as we now approached the ditch and rode along it, I could see that it was nearly full.
Well, how do you like my first line of defense, Commissioner?
Well, it's reassuring, like a moat around a castle.
Unless the ants know how to build rafts, they won't reach the plantation. But this is only the outer moat. There's a better one than this. Come along. We'll go up to the high ground where the buildings are. We can get a view from there.
Leiningen!
Huh?
I didn't see any women or children around the plantation, or any animals.
That's right. Moved them across the river.
Oh, and you think there is danger?
Oh, not because of danger, Commissioner. A matter of efficiency.
Efficiency?
Cuts down the efficiency of the men if they're worried about their families. Critical situations only become crises when oxen or women get excited.
I might have known.
Huh?
Nothing.
Here we are. See the ditch?
Much smaller than the other.
You've noticed how all the buildings are on this piece of high ground. This inner ditch surrounds them. It's lined with concrete.
But even filled with water, this is no barrier. It's not big enough. Why, if the ants get this far,
they'll get no farther. This ditch wasn't built for water, Commissioner. See the pipes leading into it? See those storage tanks on the hill? Petrol. We can throw up a wall of flame. Care to bet they won't like that?
Leiningen, look! Over at the edge of the jungle, all those animals.
Running like the wind, everything from jaguars to monkeys.
Good heavens.
Remember, they don't have any ditches.
And there's no escape.
They'll be all right as long as they don't get caught between the river and the ants. They can outrun the crawlers. But if they get trapped, it's either the ants or the crocodiles.
Oh.
Look over there on the horizon. There are your ants. Look at them.
It was a sight I'll never forget. Over the range of hills, as far as I could see, crept a darkening hem, ever longer and broader, until the shadows spread across the entire slope and then downward, uncannily swift. And all the green herbage on the entire slope was being mown as by a giant sickle, leaving only the vast moving shadow extending, deepening, and always moving nearer.
Oh, they're a hideous lot.
Leiningen, we can't last against that. Look at them. Why, they could fill your ditches with their corpses and still have enough to destroy every one of us. We've got to run.
Well,
He's got the runs.
No, they haven't reached us yet, and they never will.
That's what they always say. Don't worry about it.
The hostile army was approaching in perfect formation. No human battalions, however well drilled, could ever hope to rival the precision of that advance. Along a front that moved forward as uniformly as a straight line, the ants drew nearer and nearer to the water ditch. As they approached, two outlying wings of the army detached themselves from the main body and started marching along the sides of the ditch, no doubt expecting at some point to find a crossing. And during this hour-long flanking movement, the main army remained still. Across the scant 12 feet of ditch, I stared at them. And they stared back at me.
Sheesh.
A solid mass, every one as big as my thumb, with a reddish-black body and long legs.
Oh,
Suddenly, a
no.
sound so unearthly as to freeze our blood jerked our heads in the direction of the jungle on the far side of the ditch. Coming toward the ditch at a stumbling gallop was a singular being, a writhing, animal-like, blackened statue with a shapeless head and 4 quivering feet. It was a stag, covered over and over with ants. Leiningen threw up his rifle, and the stag fell lifeless to the ground, its agonies at an end. Horrified as I was, my curiosity impelled me to glance at my watch. I had to know how long the ants would take.
That's horrible.
After 6 minutes, only the white, polished bones of the stag remained.
Wow.
Now I could see a change in Leiningen. Gone was the sporting zest of the novel contest. In its place was a cold, violent purpose to send these vermin back to the hell where they belonged. If he did not, we were both only too sure of the alternative. And now we even knew how long it would take the ants once they got to us.
Lickety-split.
Around 4 in the afternoon, the ant scouts, having found no crossing, there was a stirring among the main army. And then an immense flood of ants, about 100 yards in width, commenced pouring in a glimmering black cataract down the far slope into the water-filled ditch. Thousands drowned instantly, but the rest began using the bodies as bridges. Leiningen immediately swung into action.
Tanayo! Get to the dam. Open the floodgate more to get the water in the ditch moving faster.
Si, senor.
Oh, look at them drown by the thousands.
Yes, but they keep coming. Even though the current carries many of them away, they're advancing.
We'll fix them. Blas,
Senor.
how about those shovels and petrol sprinklers? Have you passed them out to the men?
It has been done.
Then get all hands here in a hurry. This looks like the spot for action. Commissioner.
Yes?
Beginning to see what I was talking about?
What do you mean?
About intelligence being more than a match for anything it tackles. Take the ants. They've got no intelligence. If they had, they'd have attacked along the whole length of the ditch instead of a narrow front like this. They'd have been across by now. Too bad for them I'm not running their campaign.
You can joke about it like that with the ants halfway across the ditch?
All right, men. Busy with the shovels now. Dump some sand and clods on them. See how they like that.
Yeah.
And you with the petrol sprinkler, start pumping. They don't like it, Commissioner. They don't like it a bit. Look at them.
Yes, but look at the ones on the far side of the ditch. Whole clumps of them rolling into the water. The rest are using them for bridges.
What's keeping Tanair? He should be at the dam by now.
They're getting across. More of them.
Oh, grab a shovel and, Commissioner. Make him regret it. What's the matter? Into the petrol, idiot. Douse your paws in the petrol. Keep at it. Keep at it. You'll have to stop now. The water's moving faster.
Tanayo got the floodgates open.
Yes. Look at the ants. They can't hold their own against the current now. They're being washed away. Look at them, Commissioner. The water's carrying them away. We beat them. We've won out.
Oh, sure. For now.
It was true. Leiningen had won. The ship went down. The floodgates were left open to forestall any night crossing. When dawn came, the dark blanket was still there, motionless across the ditch. Then we noticed the feverish activity on the other side of the plantation. Here, a grove of tamarind trees lined the ditch, and every tree swarmed with the crawling insects. But instead of eating the leaves, they were merely gnawing through the stems, so that a thick green shower fell steadily to the ground.
Smart.
Have all the petrol pumps brought. Get everyone over here except the lookouts on the other side. Then pass out the shovels.
Si, senor.
Like I underestimated them when I said they didn't have intelligence.
What do you mean?
I said if they wanted to get across, they'd have to have rafts. And that's just what they've got. Those leaves are their rafts.
Even as he spoke, the leaves went tumbling down the far bank by the thousands. The current drew them away from the bank, and each leaf was crawling with ants.
Don't worry, Commissioner. I've still got a trick up my sleeve.
The water!
The ditch is drying up.
Of course it's drying up. That's the plan. Those are the orders I sent to the dam.
Are you mad? As soon as it's empty, what's to prevent the ants from... Look, the water's way down. It's almost dry. They'll be able to come across the bottom.
They'll not make it if the man at the dam carries out his orders. He should have opened the gates again by now.
To flood the ants?
Right.
Well, what a chance to take. If anything should happen, don't you...
Here it comes. Here comes the water. Now we'll give the crawlers in the ditch a good ride out into the river. There. Look at them go.
Look at them go. The crawlers.
Leiningen's tactics were successful. At first. The violent flow of water at the original depth raced through the ditch, overwhelming leaves and ants and sweeping them along. 3 times the ditch was empty. 3 times the ants raced across its bottom. And 3 times the rushing water, arriving just in time, carried them away. But the 4th time, as the level dropped nearly to the bottom of the ditch, we waited in vain for the rushing waters, and then...
Senor.
What's the matter? What's gone wrong at the dam?
The ants, senor. Just as the man at the dam lowered the water almost to the bottom, the ants attacked. Before he could open the floodgate, he was almost surrounded. He ran. The ants kept coming. They are across the ditch, senor.
Leiningen stood, motionless, absorbing the news of his defeat without a word. Then, simply, he raised his pistol and fired 3 shots into the air. The prearranged signal for all men to retreat. Instantly, the second line of defense.
Pardon me.
The concrete ditch is more than a mile from the point of invasion.
Bong hits are a little
Soon
rough
after
this
we
morning.
arrived there, the natives commenced straggling in, silently. Leiningen waited until all of them had gathered. Then he spoke to them.
But then again, so was
Well, lads, we won the first round and lost the second. But we'll smash the crawlers yet. Anyone who thinks otherwise can draw his pay and push off. There are rafts enough on the river and plenty of time still to reach them.
I stay patrol.
Patrol.
You stay then? Good. Thank you, lads.
Idiots.
And you, Commissioner?
I, can't persuade you to go up the fight.
You cannot.
You'll stay and protect that guy's shit.
I stayed, too.
Huh. I knew you would.
Senor, a few of the ants have reached the ditch.
They're trying to get across?
No.
I didn't think they would. There's plenty of food over there for them. My fields, my orchards, my work of 3 years. Huh. Ought to last them until morning, anyway.
Yes, we were safe for the moment.
Yeah.
But the next morning, the black swarm was solid around us.
Solid,
Their
Jackson.
shock troops were hard at work. They were dropping shreds of bark and twigs and leaves into the petrol-filled ditches, forming a floating bridge across the surface of the liquid. Leiningen stood silently watching this operation, and I could see a grudging admiration in his face. Then, after several hours, the attack came. Down the ditch they poured, millions of them, and across the bridge of twigs, rapidly approached the inner side. Leiningen sat motionless, watching them. Watching them. Leiningen, for the love of God, don't sit there like a statue. They'll be on us in a moment.
Let them fill the ditch first.
Yeah.
Now, all right. Everyone back from the ditch. Blas, hand me the torch. Our friends like a little heat around them.
It's an ant barbecue. Los Hormigas.
The flames from the ditch shot into the air, devouring ants by the millions.
Awesome.
It was some time before the petrol burned down to the bed of the ditch. And when it did, the devils came back for more. Again and again, Leiningen fired the ditch to destroy them. But as they returned to the assault time after time, a slow, sickening horror crept into my mind. I looked quickly at Leiningen and then at the petrol tanks. He read my gaze, nodded slowly.
That's right, Commissioner. We could hold them off forever if our supply of petrol was unlimited, but it isn't. We've only got enough to fill the ditch once more.
Leiningen, isn't there a way? Any way at all?
Ah, there must be. Yes, there must be a way. Yes. Yes, yes!
What is it?
We'll flood the whole plantation.
Flood? But how?
The river's higher than any point except this high ground we're on now. If the river was dammed all the way, it'd overflow that stone breakwater and flood the whole plantation. We've got to close the floodgate at the dam. That'll do it.
You're mad. The dam is more than a mile away, a mile of ants. It's impossible. You'll never get there, let alone get back.
That's where you're wrong, Commissioner. I'll get there and I'll get back. Ha! Ha! Hey, kettle things down, eh?
There you go.
I watched him as he calmly pulled on high leather boots, drew gauntlets over his hands, and stuffed the spaces between breeches and boots, gauntlets and arms, with petrol-soaked rags. He shielded his eyes with close-fitting mosquito goggles and plugged his nostrils and ears with cotton. Then the natives drenched his clothes with petrol. Blas, who acted as doctor to the men, smeared a salve over him. And finally, Leiningen was ready. And he stood surveying the course he must take to the dam. I sensed a sudden calm.
As I stood near the ditch ready for the run, I realized this was as it should be. I, Leiningen, would meet the ants and defeat them, or be defeated by them. Leiningen versus the ants.
Gosh.
Yes, it was right that it should be like this. But now there was no more time for thought, only action.
Action.
I took a deep breath, then bounded across the ditch and among the ants. I ran in long, equal strides with one thought, one sensation in my being. I must get through. I dodged all trees and shrubs. Except for the split seconds my soles touched the ground, the ants would have no opportunity to light on me. I ran on. I was halfway to the dam before I felt ants under my clothes and a few on my face. I struck at them mechanically, scarcely conscious of their bites. The dam drew toward me slowly. The distance grew less. Less. Finally, only 100 yards away. 50. Then I was there. I gripped the ant-covered wheel, but hardly had I seized it when a horde of ants flowed over my hands and arms. I strained, but slowly the wheel turned more. Floodgate was swinging slowly shut, and then it was shut. And the water was rising behind the breakwater, closer to the top. Closer. Then it was spilling over. The flooding of the plantation had begun. I let go of the wheel. Started back through the ants. For the first time I realized I was coated from head to foot with the fumes. Tongues of fire stabbed me as they bit into my flesh. I almost lost my head with the pain as I ran, knocking ants from my body, brushing them from my bloody face, and then one bit me just below the rim of my goggles. Managed to tear it away, but the agony of the bite and its venom drilled into the eye nerves. I saw now through circles of fire into a milky mist. I was almost blinded, but I knew that if I tripped and fell, I ran on, my heart pounding as if it would burst, blood roaring in my ears, a giant's fist battering my lungs. Then I could see dimly that wall of flame at the ditch. Oh, but it was too far away. I couldn't last half that distance. I stumbled. I fell. Felt myself being swarmed over, devoured. Tried to rise. A great weight. And suddenly the vision of the half-devoured stag in my brain. 6 minutes, then nothing but bones. I couldn't let that happen to me. I couldn't die like that. To my feet. My feet. I dragged myself forward toward the flame. The ditch. Ring of flame. Closer now. Only a little farther. 10 steps. 8. 5.
It seemed we had waited for hours, when all at once, through the blazing ring around us, an apparition hurtled and fell full length on the ground. It was Leiningen, alive with ants, unconscious with glazing eyes and lacerated face. We rushed to him, stripped off his clothes, and tore at the ants that covered him. His body seemed almost one open wound. In one place, I could see a white bone.
Oh. In one place.
Later, as the curtain of flame lowered, I looked out where that blanket of ants had been and saw only a vast expanse of water covering the entire plantation and working its way to within a few feet of the concrete ditch. The ants were gone, drowned, and Leiningen had won. He lay on his bed, his body swathed from head to foot with bandages, but alive and still in command.
Everything in order?
Everything's in order.
I told you I'd come back. Even if I am a bit streamlined.
He grinned, shut his eyes. He slept.
Escape was directed this week by Richard Sandville, and tonight brought to you...
All right, there you go. From August 4th, 1949. That was one of my favorite episodes of Escape. Actually, it is, probably the first episode of Escape that I heard. That's not what we want to look at, George Kennedy. This album here was one that my father brought home from Tower Records back when KMET was still on the radio. And this record here has been in my family since, I'm going to say the late 70s, early 80s. And it is in poor shape. And the jacket needs some tape. So... it'll go into the stack over there, and before it makes it back into my collection, it'll get cleaned up. It'll get a new pieces of tape, and I think it already has a new sleeve. I've got a box of sleeves in my storage that I use to take care of my records. If it has a sleeve, I'll take it out of its old sleeve, put the sleeve back in the jacket and put a new sleeve on and then put that in there. So I try to keep the original sleeve in with the record. A lot of times I get records and there's just no sleeves. So that's why I bought my first box was of 100 sleeves, and I burned through that really quick. So I bought a case of 500 and I burned through about half of that really quick. So now I'm just kind of dribbling out the rest of that box. I need to get another box of 45 sleeves because I've got a lot. And probably with the 45s, I need to get 45 plastic, 7-inch plastic bags for my 45s, because a lot of them have their original sleeves, but they are old or torn or unprotected, and it'd be nice to have a plastic bag as a jacket and be able to drop in the old sleeve and the 45 in a new sleeve and have that. 45 jackets would be great if I could find a place that's got like 1,045 jackets. That would be awesome. And that's just pretty much a pocket, just a little cardboard, thin chipboard pocket to slip in those little 45s with their sleeves on as well. I've got one of those for my Iron Maiden Trooper 45. And it comes in its own jacket, and then it's got its own sleeve as well. That's cool. So that'd be nice if I could get jackets for all of these old 45s, because I've got hundreds of 45s. And there are probably a few hundred that are listenable and worth listening to. So there you go. We're probably going to end the show relatively on time today. Mainly because I got to do stuff. I got to leave the house again today. And that means that I will be leaving the house 3 days in a row to go down to the desert, because I'll have to go back down again tomorrow to take my daughter to her Thursday class. No big deal. I dig it. I get to get out of it. The only bummer is that I have to deal with people. Not my favorite thing is dealing with just regular people, because when they're in their cars, they're idiots. When they're in the stores and stuff, they're usually assholes. One-on-one, people are okay. A person is fine. You get people together, grouped together, and they get this I don't know, it's all about me mentality. And they don't want to think about anybody else. They don't want to be concerned with anybody else or worry about anybody else. And I see a lot of that on the road, where people are just in it for themselves and fuck everybody else. And you see that with people zooming around, changing lanes, cutting in front of other people and slamming on their brakes, and just being dick drivers, you know. And I see so much of that, you know. I try not to become that. I mean, when I get on the freeway, I'm getting on the freeway, and I actually look to see who's coming up around me, and I'll get into that first slow lane and wait until things slacken around me, so that I can then punch it and get into the fast lane and zip, 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 get out. But I always wait until I've got a big enough gap, because I don't want to just pull out in front of the people and make them slam on their brakes for me, right? I hate it when people do that to me, so therefore I don't do it to other people. Every once in a while, I got to get over and get in front of somebody, because I've only got a small space to do it in. But I don't pull over slower than their speed. I'll punch it and get into their lane, so that when I get over, they're not slowing down at all. When I get over, I'm stretching the distance immediately. Because I hate it when people get over into my lane and then put their fucking brakes on, or get over into my lane going slower than the lane is going, right? If you're going to get into a fast lane, get going fast first. If you don't have an opportunity to get going fast before you get into that lane, wait until there's room for you to get in there and not slow that lane down. It's just courteous. And there is so much discourteousness out there. It starts to wear on me emotionally. It's physically draining. The driving just exhausts me. And it's not that it makes me tired, it's the dealing with the drivers. When I'm in my van, I don't get as exhausted driving, because I get a little more respect in my van. Yeah, we are going to be figuring out something today with that van. I haven't heard anything back from them, so I am slightly concerned that But they're just scratching their fucking heads, you know. So we may just have to go the route where, okay, let's just drop the tank. I'll bring it in when there's a little gas in it. You guys drop the tank. Take the information you need to get the correct pump. Put it all back in. And then if it can happen quick, then do it quick. If not, I'll take it home and drive it. I would imagine that they should be able to do it in a couple of days. Drop the tank, get the part, put it back together. And I just want to have this summer with my van and my wife and my daughter and my dogs and do the thing that I want to do, you know. And if it means getting a little itty-bitty trailer to pull behind the van so we can take with us our little adventure pack, you know, then that's what we'll have to do, you know. Nothing lasts forever. My daughter is either going to take this van when I'm gone or it's going to get sold off. It doesn't make any difference to me. It's just a vehicle. If she decides that she wants it when she starts driving, it's hers. You know, it's the perfect vehicle for someone of her age because it's big, it's safe, and it's got this. It's like a room, you know. Whatever she decides to do, it would be a great accompaniment to, you know, her lifestyle. Anyway, let me do this bong here. I don't know why. It's going to make me cough more, right? Actually, this is a different bud. It doesn't have as much of the yak, yak, yak. Which is great. I mean, it's probably going to have a little bit, but not so much. Yeah, it comes with a little congestion, but that's it. Mainly, it's just I'm old. My lungs are used up. Marijuana is like the catalyst for me being able to get here and do this in the morning. It really allows me to have the peace of mind to be able to just not be concerned with how people see me, right? It's like I was always bugged my whole life. It's like people are looking at me and they're thinking this, and then I would just hide. I don't give a shit anymore. So between the coffee and the marijuana, I just am allowed to be me, and the freedom of speech that I'm allowed here on YouTube. So that's great. So I can be me. This is a reality show, a real reality show about me. I just sit and be me. Take it or leave it. That's what it is. It is what it is. I'm going to have to get on some kind of kick about promoting my channel and getting people to like and share more. I just assumed that people would just do it on their own, automatically decide to like and subscribe and share and that kind of stuff. Not so. I think people actually have to be told, right? And you hear a lot of that on the little videos at the ends of the videos at the beginning. You know, be sure to like and subscribe or ear wigs are going to eat your brain out. And it's like, are you kidding me? Really? And people are like, well, I must do it. Are you right? So those are the people that I do not. When people are screaming at me, subscribe, I don't subscribe. And that's just the way I am. So I just assume that if I don't force people, they'll decide on their own to subscribe and help me out. But I'm having a hard time just getting to 200 to double what I did for my subscriber telethon. And I might do another one at 200. I might say, okay, look, let's get some more subscriptions going on, and let me do a 200 or a 250, and then we'll do a 500. I don't know. Something. I want to do something. Some kind of event. The last one kind of bugged out. I didn't have any shirts. I still have to get some shirts to send out, which is horrible on my part. Gratefully, they were people that I know, so I'm not really obligated for any rapid response. And they were both surprised that they didn't even have any clue that I was doing it anyway, so it doesn't mean anything to them. So that's okay. Yeah, it's just about time to wrap up. And it's always at this point that I've gone on and on and on about stuff. Let's talk real quick about what's happening the rest of the week. Tomorrow, it's Arts and Crafts Day. I've got a bunch of stuff to look at in the box. We'll just kind of take the box and open it up and look at it. We also have a case of 8 tracks here, a number 2 box that we'll open up, and we'll look to see what's in that case. And if they're in a carrying case, then more than likely they've been gone through and refurbished and all of that. So we'll check that out. On Friday, we are going to do Conspiracy Corner again. We're going to do This Week in History again. And I've got a cigar box over here with some memorabilia in it, some stuff. And we'll take a look in there and see what's in there. As always, every day we'll look at the TV guide and see what's going on. I've got a few TV guides for April, so I might actually switch it up tomorrow and read from another TV guide in April from another year. So that'll be cool. That'll be neat. It looks like I got time here for one more bong hit while we're sitting here. Because I figured out there eventually there's going to be someone watching this show who's going to be like, yeah, I'll do a bong hit with you. Right on, dude. You know. So even if they don't say it, do it. Just do it. Just do it. I said do it. Just do it. So there's that. This stuff is better. This bud here that I opened up, that one's better. It doesn't make me cough. So I'm gonna have to get some more of that. Yeah. Oh, I don't want to block my secretary. I kind of assumed that today would be kind of a slow day. It's hump day, you know? It's hump day. It's a slow day. It's coming along. Can you hear the birds? My window is right here, and the birds literally sit right out here in the mornings. It's very cool. No, it's not sound effects. It's real birds. It is real birds. Oh, pardon me. All right, people. This has been Mornings with Crazy Old Weird Bearded Guy. That's what I do in the morning. I get up early. I start all of this stuff. I make coffee. I sit here. I drink it. I smoke. And I talk about my life. Things from my life. I hope you've enjoyed it. Probably not as much as I've enjoyed it because, you know, this is my thing. It's pretty much for me and for posterity, for my daughter, so later on she can look at it and go, yeah, Dad was kooky, wasn't he? Yeah. All right, people, you know what to do. Be kind, spread peace and love, not bullshit. Be nice to each other. Do something for yourself out there, but do something for somebody else as well. Why? Because it makes you feel good. It makes you feel good. It makes somebody else feel good too, and that's really cool. Yeah. So go out there and do something. Have fun today. Do something. You know, get off your phone. Put down the phone and do something. All right? But most especially, stay weird. Because if you ain't weird, ain't nobody gonna be weird for you, people. All right? There you go. All right. It's been great. I will see you tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Thank you for stopping by. Appreciate it. All right, I'm gonna do it. Spread the word. tell people about this. Tell people that I'm here. I'm sharing stuff from the past. And if you got any suggestions, throw it at me. I probably got it here in my collection, and I'll debut it on my show. All right, guys. Take it easy. I will see you bright and early in the morning. And just remember, coming up this summer, my guest Minecrafter will be my daughter, Natalie. And we will bring in Joey as well to come hang out and play with us. All right, people, take it easy. I take it easy. I take it easy. Love you. Bye.